prescription drug advertising on mass media should be prohibited. Some terms I'd like to define is mass media. Mass media is any magazines, newspaper, radio, television, internet. And another term that we'll be using is DTC, which is direct to consumer advertising. So it's the advertisements that are directed to the consumer rather than the physician. The significance claims are that direct-to-consumer advertising misinforms patients, and it leads to a decrease in the value of the healthcare system. The inherency is that the current policy regulation is not very effective, and solvency is that similar policies have been put into effect that have been successful and will work for the ban of advertisement. The significance, advertisements misinform patients. In a random study conducted by the U.S. National Library of Medicine, 4 true-false statements about government oversight and regulation of DTC advertisements were included to assess respondents' confidence in consumer protections. First one, drug companies must submit copies of all prescription drug ads to federal government for approval before those ads were used. The second, only prescription drugs that have been found to be completely safe can be advertised in the United States. Third, only prescription drugs that have been found to be extremely effective can be advertised in the United States. And fourth, the advertising of prescription drugs that have serious side effects have already been banned in the United States. The correct answer to all 4 of the statements is false. Many respondents harbored incorrect beliefs about the regulation of DTC advertising. This shows that DTC advertising misinforms many consumers about what is really their products. Another misinformation was the drug Vioxx. Vioxx was a drug that was put into effect before all the results were known. To place the drug Vioxx in the best light possible, the company Merck sought to manipulate the results of the main study carried out in 1999. The unacceptable cardiovascular results of Vioxx were evident as early as 2000, a full 4 years before the drug was finally withdrawn from the market by its manufacturer. Vioxx was responsible for an estimated 7,500 deaths before 1999 and 2004. This misinformation directed to the consumers could have easily been prevented if they had done further research or if there was more regulations on what they could advertise. Another problem with the current advertising is that it diminishes the value of the healthcare system. The patient interaction with a physician has diminished because physicians are spending too much time talking patients out of a drug that they don't really need because they saw it on a commercial and they're like, oh, I want that drug, and they don't really need it. The new a study done by Pharmacoeconomics says that the newest drugs do not have the same long track records of effectiveness and safety that an older treatment has. DTC may not adequately explain treatment options and may give consumers a false sense of security regarding the safety of these advertised treatments. Physicians also believe that this has led to a decline in the health, and they say that a group of physicians believe that DTC is lacking in information regarding cost, alternative treatments, and adverse effects, which must address clinical visits. 2 additional studies report 39% of physicians and 38% of patients view request driving from DTC as damaging to the efficiency of the visit. Moving on to inherency, the current policy of regulation is not very effective. The FDA currently regulates drugs, the drug advertisement. They only need a brief summary of the risks in an advertisement, and they don't need to submit promotional material to the FDA before they are actually used. If the FDA finds that the drug advertisement or promotion is false or misleading, it can take enforcement action. However, there's been decline in the number of letters that have sent out. The agency does not have the ability to quickly issue regulatory letters after a violation is identified. This review can take 13 to 78 days. So it's not very effective because some of the advertisements are already out and affecting the public. Going on to solvency, there are similar policies that have been put into effect that have been very successful. There's the only 2 countries are United States and New Zealand that have DTC advertising, and it works really well in those countries. They only promote disease awareness campaigns are considered legal only if such campaigns do not refer directly or indirectly to a product or therapeutic class. So it's not directly promoting a certain drug, it's just promoting disease awareness, so it's better for the consumer and more informative. Another policy was the tobacco ban on advertisement. By 1980, the court had developed a set of criteria, the Central Hudson Test, which is still used today for determining whether a ban on commercial speech is permissible. This test examines whether the advertising is misleading, whether banning it directly advances a substantial government interest, and whether the government interest can be achieved through a less restrictive route, such as adding a special label. They show that tobacco has been ineffective, has shown negative effects on advertising, and that's why they banned it. And prescription drugs are misleading, and that's why it should be banned, and that is what our claim